James Melendez on my channel. Next is this wine. This is Piper Sonoma non-vintage Brut. Stay tuned and I'll tell you more about this wine. So, we're in December. This is 2019, the last month of the decade. To me, it's really this amazing journey and experience of beautiful wines. I think it's really important to highlight, enjoy, and experience and share these wines. Now, I think there's so many people who really put sparkling wine in a very specific category. That is maybe occasionally a graduation, maybe Easter, maybe a Christmas holiday season, New Year's Eve, and so forth, as opposed to enjoying more often. I don't know why people feel this very special slot about drinking sparkling wine during a given occasion. Ultimately, life is to celebrate at any given moment. And again, I've said this many times before, maybe it's a hard week, maybe it's a challenging week ahead. Maybe we've had a great week, right? And just to celebrate the everydayness of life. And sparkling wine is something to enjoy in that set of experiences. I think it's really splendid, wonderful, and something to look up to. Now, this brand, Piper Sonoma, let me bring this label a little closer. They've gone through some label redesign. And I remember the very bright yellowish label some time ago. And it's actually a brand that I actually forgot about. And I think it's pretty remarkable to not think of a California sparkling wine or US sparkling wine. Ultimately, so the bigger producers, there aren't a lot, say, compared to maybe Italy or Spain or France, of course. But when you look at this set, for me to forget about it and not think about it is, I don't see it at the marketplace or I don't see it at a tasting. Therefore, it's not top of mind for me. And ultimately, I didn't, think about this wine that often. In the past, I thought it was, there's other better sparkling wines at that point. So in this modern period, I think wines have really finessed upward in terms of quality, beauty, elegance, and artistry. This wine really exhibits that. So let me tell you more about this wine. So this wine is a 13.5% ABV wine. This wine is 70% Chardonnay, 20% of this is Pinot Noir, 3% of this is Pinot Blanc, which I think is really cool, as well as 7% of this is an aged reserve. So my guess on that is a blend of all three varieties, or maybe it's a blend of maybe Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. But it's something to that effect. 7% is just to give, I think, some finesse and maybe consistency over time. It is non-vintage, and that's what you'll find in other regions, say Champagne, for example, using reserve wines in future releases. So I think this is a really splendid, beautiful wine, $22 price point, and very affordable. So Pinot Blanc is not a wine variety you find in great quantity in California. Really, outside of France, when you think about it, there's not a lot of it. And to put it in a sparkling wine, I think is really a thoughtful touch. So point score, this is a 91 point wine out of 100 points and begins the scent characterization. Now, do yourself a favor, don't really put this in too much of a fluted glass, but don't also put this in a burgundy glass. I think a burgundy glass is just really, it gives away a lot of scent, right? But doesn't give a lot of that bubble action that I think is really important. And it really helps it to really expand the wine in the palate and to enjoy it with that experience. So on this, crushed seashells is really evident, as well as white flowers, fresh flowers, a bit of orange rind, and on this is passion fruit. Lovely. Next, the palate characterization. So the citrus rind is really evident. I like the base point of this being, Chardonnay really extends this wine in terms of the floral characterization, but also that oyster shell characterization. So when I use that term, I'm really thinking salinity and minerality at the same time. And someone might say it's the same thing. Well, yes, but it's also a way of describing things in a way that probably is registering to, that experience. So I think altogether this wine constructs beautifully. It's a good price point, and it's something to come back to. So if you tasted Piper Sonoma in the past, but haven't recently, I'd recommend it. I think it's a really nice quality bottle of wines. So the end of the decade's coming, the end of the month and the year. And so it's an auspicious moment, but to enjoy this wine and other wines and my travel experiences and lifestyle experiences to come. So thank you for your support this decade. I really appreciate it this year and this month and going forward. Stay tuned for more. Santé.